Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tailgate Update, episode number 35. Of course, we're here with Ryan and with Julie. And first thing, let's give us all a big round of applause for the YouTube channel hitting 300 subscribers.
And we want to thank you guys because you are the audience means everything to us, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, the thanks goes to you guys.
Anyway, jumping into this week, we're going to start with the NBA, starting with the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
And we'll jump in. The 76ers owner bought Game 6 tickets to block Knicks fans from attending.
Yeah,
and the
so I have
Yeah.
I have a little tidbit on this one.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Jay.
Yeah, they bought 2,000 tickets, and they allegedly plan to hand them out. I mean, I heard about it ahead of time, so I don't know if they actually did, but the plan was to hand them out to the Philly community, and as long as the people would pledge that they weren't Knicks fans. So they were handing them like out on the streets, and everybody had to pledge apparently for the 2,000 tickets.
Like, did they have to put their hand on a Sixers jersey and like raise their right hand?
Yeah, well, the left hand in this case.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
What do you think about that, Ryan?
I think it's laughable at best. Good try. Congratulations. You tried something to block people from coming to your venue, giving you more money just to get better home court advantage. It didn't work out because you still lost.
It might have been nice for community members who wouldn't have been able to afford to go, so that's nice.
Yeah, like if they did this in a way to where they're like, this is a charitable cause, we want as many Philly fans as we possibly can to come and, you know, join in and be in the fun for Game 6, force of Game 7. You were there when Joel Embiid hit a hook shot over who knows, you know? But they didn't. They openly said that they were buying it so Knicks fans could not buy tickets.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. They missed the mark of philanthropic, however you say it. Being nice.
Philanthropists?
Yeah, they missed that mark. However, I just know, like, if I was probably, you know, well, I would have been really excited about going to the game either way. But yeah, I hear you. The optics are crap.
That's true. And the other thing about it is too, it's being from the South, you don't think about how close New York and Philly are. I mean, basically a train ride away. And they say that on the secondary market, the Knicks tickets were going for upwards of 1,000, and you could get in the door for under 200 in Philadelphia. So even if you couldn't afford to get in New York, you could catch a train and catch it for under $200 in Philadelphia and still root for your team. So
Yeah. I mean, paying for a ticket to go to the Garden, go through all that Manhattan mess, all that good stuff, and then going to Philly, which is essentially, you know, from New York City, it's about a 2-hour drive, maybe.
It's a long time. It's my boyfriend did it once. I think it was a few hours. It's not easy, and you have to be at the right station anyway. I forget Grand Central or whatever, and like that one is huge, and it looks like airport almost. It's so big, and it's not convenient at all.
Yeah, it's not, but like you're spending less money to do that.
Yeah,
unless you're driving, because if you're driving there, it's going to cost a hefty chunk of change. But
the tolls are gonna get you. Yeah, it's gonna be a pain, but it's definitely doable. Like for a day trip, for sure.
Absolutely.
Just I would never.
I'd rather drive myself than sit on a train with a bunch of people who have no respect for each other.
Public transportation in New York City is not my vibe. But anyway, I've done it. I mean, I live in New Jersey now, so I'm classy, but, you know.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
The Garden State.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Let's move into the rest of the playoffs. Julie, let's start back with you. Anything jump out at you from the playoffs that you noted from an almost finished, first round?
Yeah. Well, it is finished now, Jay, because we have the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. the Pacers and the Knicks, the Mavericks and the Thunders, and then the Celtics and the Cavaliers now.
Mhm.
The first, I mean, the it just ended like I don't know, less than an hour ago. So,
Yep.
um, so a couple things. I thought the whole how did you pronounce? I call him Embiid. You pronounce it something else, right?
Embiid.
Yeah,
Embiid.
Embiid. There's a apparently a wild chant, "fuck Embiid," and I didn't love that because he played through a busted knee and Bell's palsy, and I'm like, I don't know what more you can ask from this man because he could literally couldn't blink one eye through most of the playoffs. So I'm like, and had like headaches from the light sensitivity, and then yeah, and he's like hobbling on, God knows what, torn ligaments probably, and like, so I was like very unimpressed with this, but anyway, um, it is Knicks fans. So, and then Chris Finch was back at practice. I seen him. So I had this injury that he had, y'all. Well, I dislocated my kneecap, and I believe that's the same. Anyway, it's like the worst thing ever, and it takes like 6 months at the minimum to recover. And I was like 14, like, and he's like in his 50s or whatever. So
Yeah.
like, good luck on that. And it's really painful. It just takes forever. He was there back at practice one day after his surgery, and he had the huge like knee stabilizer because you can't bend your knee for like 2 months, as I remember. So your legs stick straight out for like 2 or 3 months. And so he was out there with stretchers and with the crutches and the knee. And I was just kind of impressed by that because I remember how horrifically painful it was, and you would not catch me doing that. Okay. So those are a few things I noticed.
Wow. I mean, for me, I caught the tail end of the Lakers series once it got interesting towards the end.
Mm,
Um, I mean, I can really sympathize with the fans that thought that the Lakers should have just took their chances and tried to drop to 8 because their matchup against Denver, they just didn't match up well with Denver at all. They could be a lot more competitive about against anybody else in the playoffs.
mm,
They just had no one to really guard any of the big wings. None of their big wings were competitive with Murray or even Gordon. Everybody just torched them, and of course, Jokic is going to get his 30 and 10 every night. So, I
it's
mean,
because they
I
didn't bring
felt
back
bad.
Dwight Howard. I've been
Yeah,
telling you this.
I felt bad for LeBron out there because I'm like everybody else from the South. I'm not maybe not a big fan, but I mean, my gosh, the guy just defies time.
Mm,
He was incredible out there. I mean, he's got Anthony Davis on his team, and 2 out of 3 games, he was the best player on the floor, not Anthony Davis. So, kudos to the Lakers for getting that far. But, um, Denver's moving on to their matchup with Minnesota, and they're kind of at a disadvantage because they've got nobody for Edwards
uh-huh.
on
Yeah,
that.
and
So,
that showed last night. Yeah,
yeah,
when
I mean, Ryan,
Edwards
what
smoked
are
him.
you thinking about the matchup so far? First round and then the first round of the first game of the Minnesota.
Mm,
So I disagree with the Lakers dropping to 8. In theory, it's a nice, you know, nice thought to drop to 8 and then not have to worry about Denver in the first round. But you get hot in the first round, you're gonna end up having to play them in the second round. You would think, right? Because
Yeah,
Denver was a 2 seed.
yeah, you have to play them soon anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, it was the same thing as last year. You're gonna have to play them eventually, whether you're a bad matchup or not. The Lakers had a 15-point, 12-point, and a 20-point lead in that series in games 1, 2, and 3, and lost. All right. Game 4 got out to a 19-point lead, and Denver came back to make it about a 6 or 8 point lead. We got away with that one. That was a game where the Lakers played their best ball and closed out the game. Those 3 games before that, they couldn't close out. I mean, not just in the Lakers series, but all throughout basketball in general, officiating is terrible. Guys are getting away with traveling. Jokic takes 17 steps before he shoots. He pushes off constantly with his elbows. It's poor officiating. And to get to your point, Jay, about feeling bad for LeBron, AD carried him for 3 of those 5 games.
Yeah, that's true.
AD
That's
was
true.
the man in that series, and when he was going up against Jokic was scoring at like 50% or something like that, but he wasn't getting those big time baskets. It was off second chance points.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Did y'all hear about Jokic's brother punching that fan allegedly?
yeah.
That was wild. With everybody trying to hold him back, like that's exactly what you need.
No.
That's what I got from the first round. And now I think Denver is in for a world of hurt against Minnesota. Last night, Minnesota had their way with them for the most part in the second half. And Jokic was really kind of quiet.
Well, I'm ready to see the Nuggets go down. So.
Oh, I'm so sick and tired of the Nuggets. Like, not just being a Lakers fan, I don't like Jokic. Like, just from like a fan standpoint, he's irritating to me. He doesn't.
Yeah, I think he irritates everyone but the team that he's on. So,
like, he's this big dude, looks awkward as hell, but he scores 35 points a game.
Yeah.
It's just irritating.
Because he looks awkward.
Well, anyway, speaking of the playoffs, we're going. I'll flip back to Ryan on your thoughts on Darvin Ham taking the brunt of the LeBron and AD loss, losing the job like the next day.
It was coming. LeBron doesn't think he's going to come back. He's pulling the Miami and Cleveland situation again. This is a way to ensure that he comes back. Darvin wasn't the guy he wanted. Obviously, he's in over his head when it comes to the playoffs. He was literally, let me check my notes here. He was 90 and 74 in the regular season. He was 9 and 12 in the postseason with back-to-back series losses to Denver, in which he was 1 and 8 in those series. In over his head, 2 years, yeah, whatever. You got LeBron, you got AD, and you have a slew of great role players, and you do nothing with them.
Yeah.
You don't know how to match up late in games. He doesn't challenge when he's supposed to. Okay? There was a point in game 3, I think it was, that cost us where he wouldn't challenge.
Yeah.
When it losing the game by 3 points.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And it's all on him. It's as much as it is on the role players who couldn't perform, it's on him. He's the head coach. You need to do better.
Yeah, I was going to say something about the role players too, because I mean, D'Angelo and Rui,
Russell,
they were both the third best players on the team that they were traded from. Okay,
mm-hmm.
They were both outstanding guys. They were part of a solid core at other places to come in and be fifth or sixth best at LA. And Austin Reeves, whenever one of the two scoring options was out, he always would put up 26, 28, or 30 points. He could always step up when he needed to. And you had all that around you, but they couldn't make a defensive scheme that would stop Denver after having 2 shots at doing it. So,
absolutely.
You know, they had most guys don't get 2 chances to get out of like the first round, second round, but he just couldn't. Julie, your thoughts on the firing?
Yeah, so when I Googled this, a few words came up and I felt they were pretty fitting. They came up a few times: predictable and inevitable. So those are my words for this event.
Absolutely, Julie. I agree 100%.
When you're talking about inevitable, let's move on to the next topic about Caitlin Clark.
Oh,
Caitlin Clark. This one shocked the living hell out of me that she's only making $76,000 in her first year.
That's true.
That's
you can make more with a bachelor's degree in computer science. You can make more with a master's in almost anything. You still can't pay rent in New York City with that income.
Don't forget she has like a $28 million deal with Nike.
Well, thank God. She's getting paid like pennies, like lower middle class out here for working for a nationally organized, like established
let's not forget though, Julie, the WNBA is being propped up by the NBA, and they're still not making enough money to pay their players that proper salary as the NBA does because it's aired at a weird time during the year, and everybody doesn't. It's sort of in that situation with spring football.
Exactly. That's a very good comparison.
Yeah.
Like people just don't care to watch when it's on
Yeah,
because
I
it's in
just
that
think we
weird
can
part of the
all
year.
agree that $76,000 is fucking egregious. Like for a nationally
Yeah,
organization, like that is crazy talk.
yeah,
And also,
I
like you
agree.
said, but the weird time of the year, it's like when you're getting into the WNBA playoffs and the good part of the time, that's just when the NFL is ramping up. And that's
Right.
just a death sentence for any other sport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're starting right when the NBA playoffs are like in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And like who actually even wants to play if that's your like big win there? Like, I'm sorry, I can make more like working two part-time jobs somewhere. Like, cool story, bro. Like I doing all that for that, like I wouldn't want to be involved either. Fuck that.
Yeah, they're just not
Yeah.
bringing in the money to pay Caitlin Clark like
Yeah.
$5 million a year. They're not
But for
bringing
the
in the
for the
revenue.
for the on the court stuff, I mean, she is going to be in 80% of their games are going to be nationally televised. Number
Yeah.
one, and then number two, she did get 21 points in her first preseason exhibition game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like she's not going to be doubled. And looked at every play of every game
Mm-hmm.
as a rookie.
Yeah.
If she's
So
getting paid that, then what are other people getting paid? Like, do we got people running around on 20K in there? Like,
Maybe.
probably.
Oh, and again, it goes back to the revenue thing. You're not
yes,
making
you're
revenue, you can't pay
like
your players.
it's like the NFL when it first started, like gotta have a full-time gig and I play football.
All right. Same thing with baseball back in the day. You work
Yeah.
during the day, you play at night.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the NHL playoffs. Ryan, I'm going to let you lead with this.
Okay, I'll lead. The NHL playoffs have been pretty damn good lately. Like this has been a pretty good round. Colorado defeated Winnipeg. I had Winnipeg win that series actually in 6 games, but Winnipeg lost in 5. Vancouver over Nashville in 6. Edmonton takes out LA in 5. And tonight we have Dallas versus Vegas in Game 7. That's just in the West. In the East, we had Florida over Tampa in 5. Boston over Toronto in 7. An overtime winner by the pasta chef, Pasternak. And the Rangers swept the Capitals, and Carolina took out the Islanders in 5.
Okay.
Contrary to belief, those series were actually kind of close.
And
I was going to say in Toronto lost in 7. So
yeah, Toronto lost in 7. We have 2 Game 7s in the first round. That's awesome.
yeah,
and last
heading
last
into the second round here. We have the Atlantic Division with the Florida Panthers expected to win over the Boston Bruins, according to ESPN.
Really?
The Metropolitan Division, the New York Rangers are expected to win over the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Pacific Division, the Edmonton Oilers are expected to win over the Vancouver Canucks. And the Central Division series is, of course, undetermined because the Avalanches will be playing against either Dallas or Vegas. So that's our look at what are they, the semifinals?
Right, really? Dallas will be playing. Hold on here.
Yeah, it's either Dallas or Vegas.
Really? I would have thought Edmonton would have played Vegas.
let me jump
Anyways.
a little bit for the personnel moves. Seattle Kraken fire Dave Hochstil after 3 seasons. So
This isn't David Quinn situation. I would have given him another year, but
Yeah.
they did drop a little bit in goals against per game. They went from 3.52 when they made the playoffs last year down to a 2.61 this year. And they were eliminated with 2 weeks left in the season from playoff contention.
Yeah.
Last season they made the playoffs, went 46-28-8, had 100 points, finished third in the Central, I believe.
Western.
Yeah, they're in the Central Division with Dallas, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, they beat the defending champs, the Colorado Avalanche, last year in the first round in 7 games, and then lost the second round to Dallas in 7 games. It wasn't a dire need to get rid of him. Their personnel is not. I don't know. They're not elite. Their goaltending is kind of meh. So I can understand why he would fall off a little bit, but it wasn't a dire need to fire him. It wasn't a San Jose situation where he was historically bad. So
Yeah, I read he was a finalist for the Jack Adams Award last season, and like reaching the semifinals in the team's second year as a franchise was pretty exciting. So I definitely did not get the impression it wasn't a Darwin situation. It was kind of like a
oh
oh
yeah,
yeah.
it wasn't a Quinn situation, and it definitely was a Darvin Ham situation. But I would have given him another year. They're only 3 years old. I mean, come on. Their leading scorer all time has 90 goals. So,
Yeah.
come on, guys. Not everybody can be Vegas and go to the Cup Finals their first year in the league. You know.
Speaking of awards that you just did, the Vizina Trophy candidates, Bobrovsky, Hellebuyck, and Demko. Is there a clear favorite?
I don't know, man.
Not that I could see. They seem to be traveling in a trio. Everybody's talking about them as a unit.
Yeah, I mean it's close. Bobrovsky might get the nod because he does have the lowest goals against of anybody, and he has the most shutouts of all three of them. He got 6, but his save percentage is tied for 7th in the league with a .915. He did lead Florida with 36 wins, which is one behind Hellebuck from Winnipeg. I don't know. I think Bobrovsky gets the nod this year for the Vezina.
Okay.
So, Jay, I have a fun fact about the Vezina trophy.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes,
it was
please.
a little historical moment from a sports historian. It was first presented in 1927 in memory of George. And I'm trying to remember how they did it in French. It was really dramatic, and I practiced. But anyway, George Vezina. Vezina was a Montreal Canadian goaltender who collapsed on the ice in November of 1925 and then died of TB a few months later at the age of 39. And so the Montreal Canadian owners actually donated it, I guess, in his honor. And so that's where the name comes from.
That's neat. Hockey has such better stories than NFL or NBA.
I don't know if that's neat, but I I am kind of a little more curious because when I hear players dying, my true crime. Not that I think that this is a true crime incident, but I want to know all about the TB and everything. But anyway, yeah. So now we know it was in honor of a dead goalie in 1925.
Okay.
Dominic Hasek has 6. He has the most business of all time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he won 5 from 1993 until 1999.
Yeah, I remember him. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad out there. He was a baddie.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? Jim Carrey won the Vezina in 1995, 1996. Not the one you're thinking of, though. The Canadians.
That's pretty funny, though. Let's see what the moving into the third part of our discussion today, the NFL, the network crisis with 2026, the rights coming up again. So, Julie, have you looked at this or thought much about this coming up? The big money uh, forces at work here.
I'm sorry, you lost me. What are we?
The NFL rights coming up in 2026. They're going to be doing some streaming. Amazon, of course, will have a good deal to say about this. Um,
I'm so sick of Amazon. I really am.
yeah,
This whole
uh,
streaming thing for I'm sorry to cut you off, Jay. The whole
yeah,
streaming
the
thing for
Bally
football is
stuff. Yeah,
ridiculous.
the Bally stuff. Yeah.
Oh, well, that was at the end of the notes section.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
See,
Yeah, I'm
that's why
sorry.
you caught me off guard.
Okay, let's talk. You want to talk about the NFL rights then, or we'll talk about that when it comes around.
Yeah, go in line.
It is in
Okay.
line.
What?
Did you not look at the notes, Julie?
I did look at the notes.
The network crisis.
Let's
Oh
go
yeah,
to
yeah,
Michael.
yeah. The NFL Total
You
Access and all that.
did you find your GPS way back or what?
No,
Are you
he
lost
just said
still?
something about NFL rights, and I don't know what this has to do with rights, but
He's talking about
But anyway, let's
broadcasting
go
rights.
to the next bullet point. Michael Irvin was kicked off the NFL Network, along with most of the Total Access cast.
yeah.
Julie, you're the one that brought this to our attention. You take the lead on this.
Yeah, and it really wasn't something personal about him. After nearly 20 years of the NFL Total Access running, it's getting canceled, and so 6 other people were also fired at the same time, and thousands, and I believe the NFL media in general, the network. But don't hold me to that. But yeah, anyway, the whole thing is going. So he was just another casualty after 15 years. People keep bringing up the lawsuit and everything. I don't really know that it was about that since they pretty much got rid of everybody anyway. They're replacing it with Good Morning Football.
Oh God.
Is taking over and moving from New York to LA and is on hiatus right now. And it's sort of surprising that they're doing all of this around the draft because this is like a pretty good time for, NFL. We're leading into the really exciting time, so it's a weird time to have a hiatus and then a firing like this drastic.
So Michael Irvin's not going to be with NFL Network anymore.
Yeah, no.
So he's not going to be on Good Morning or Game Day Morning.
Good Morning Football. No, he's not.
He's not going to be on Game Day Morning on Sundays?
He's not going to be on NFL networking anymore. I heard he's still going to be on Undisputed or whatever, but that's it.
Oh, okay. So he's going, okay. He's switching over to Fox then. Okay.
I don't know if he's like officially, because I know Undisputed brings on a lot of different like people from different networks and, to do like, to occasionally come as guests. I don't think he's like a mainstay over there. I don't think he has a contract with Fox at this point in time, but yeah, I think that's where you're going to be able to catch him because I think they're canning a lot of their lineup. I know for sure the NFL Total Access, but because they laid off so many people, it's really kind of unclear how the rest of their.
Well, I can't believe they're getting rid of Total Access. I can't believe that.
Yeah, after 20 years for something Good Morning Football, which sounds stupid.
It's on at like 6 o'clock in the morning and runs until 1 o'clock, and they just rerun it. Like it gets to I think it's like 10 o'clock, and they just start it over.
Oh wow. Yeah, and it's like
I've seen that. It's like the old ESPN Sports Center in the 90s where they would just loop up the same 30 minutes for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah,
it is bad.
Good Morning Football. How stupid is that? It sounds like
they press the same stupid stereotypes. They pound the same dead horse over and over again. Same topics. Hop on anything that's hot and just ride it out until it's dead.
Yeah. Speaking of moving into the personnel moves, we've got Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms are gone from CBS Network after 20 or so years again.
And Phil Simms is being replaced with Matt Ryan on CBS.
Yeah, both of them are. He's going to be the new guy on the block, and they
really.
Yeah.
So Phil and Boomer are being replaced by one guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they sure are.
All right.
I
Whatever.
couldn't believe it myself. I have a soft spot for Boomer. I'm annoyed by Matt Ryan coming in. I know he did a little bit of sports casting last year and wasn't awful at it, but I'm just sort of
He was on the NBC crew last year, right? For
think
Sunday Night Football with Drew.
I honestly can't remember. I feel like he was always in a group of three or something. Like it felt like he got put in like random groups sometimes. Like it just it because I have an image in my mind of the two regulars and then him in the back and it was like a triangle and he just looks so awkward and I'm just like I just don't. I mean, he did better than Drew Brees, okay, but like not by that much. And to replace Boomer,
Boomer's been there since like forever.
yeah, I mean his name is Boomer. That says a lot. But like,
Okay, his name was Boomer in the '80s too. What's your point?
and I'm saying like you can tell he's been there for a while because his
Because
name
his
is
name's
literally
Boomer.
Boomer. Yes. Um, and
Okay.
like
Can, can,
he had that
can,
segment like 2 minutes in sports or whatever, right? Like that was pretty awesome on Mondays.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know about that. I like Chris Berman's fastest 3 minutes, but
Was that
Yeah.
it? That's what I was thinking
he
of.
usually does that Sunday night and
Okay.
Monday and Sunday and Monday night to catch you up on everything you missed. But
Yeah, either way, I'm tired of them getting rid of everybody just to bring in these young people who don't really necessarily have the talent I want to see, okay?
Speaking about young people being brought in, ESPN's doing the same thing. They're bringing in Jason Kelsey,
Mm-hmm.
fresh off his
uh,
retirement.
now is he? Do they say what he's going to be doing at ESPN? Is he going to be joining
Monday night
NFL? Oh, he's
football.
doing Monday Night Football. Jason Kelsey is. Okay.
Okay.
He does know he has to keep his shirt on, right?
I mean, does he have to?
Yes. That'd be the professional thing to do.
Okay, but like, what's his name? The other one who always takes his shirt off and screams at Bills games. That's also chubby and uh Fitzpatrick. He took his shirt off and during Thursday night football.
Fitzmagic doesn't care.
Yeah, he likes his chest hair hanging out all the time. I don't think Jason Kelsey got to do nothing.
He's like a healthier Jay Cutler.
Jason Kelsey is Fitzpatrick in like a couple years, so like and literally like 5 years, like maybe not even
Yeah.
that. So
You see me doing betting commercials with Kevin Hart.
Moving on to what I tried to scoot up a little Bally Sports fiasco. We'll call it my own Bally Sports fiasco. I'll just take ownership of that. And Bally Sports just negotiating with Comcast, for a new contract. Comcast just said, "Nah, I don't think so." And so, half the country's at their local sports.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they
Yeah, wasn't it like 15 games this weekend or something that were blacked out because of the I don't know. I definitely heard it was a lot.
it was a lot. There are 12 that are very affected by it, and another six that are kind of affected by it. The different sources have different amounts, and also
Mhm.
there were two of the uh, southwestern outlets that opted out because when they were going through the bankruptcy, some of them bought in to part of it so that they became part investors with Diamond Sports, who is the one who bought Bally.
Mhm.
And then basically it's like in the middle of the season, everything just goes dark. And all these Bally Sports outlets, they were the number one broadcast in their market for a cable tele. I mean, they were out polling Fox News. They were out polling, uh, you know, uh, Raw on TNT. I mean, all these different things. Anything on TNT, TBS, USA
Mhm.
was falling 3 and 4 times behind Valley Sports, and that just goes black.
Yeah.
That's just
really.
amazing. Yeah, they were the highest rated of every market that they were in for cable broadcasts
Hmm.
prime time. And just for every one of those to go off the market is just amazing. And for a sports network to actually lose money and go bankrupt is astounding in these days.
Well, one thing's for sure: blackouts in baseball and Rob Manfred go together.
Oh,
So
so
Yeah, but
where
what
there's
are
one's
what
being
are they
done.
gonna do about it, Jay? Do you know?
well, Amazon made a deal in January, but it wouldn't. It has to go through all the trustees and bankruptcy judge and all a whole big process.
Ugh.
Uh, but the main thing that they were worried about was the basketball because it paid them so much more than the baseball. The
Mm.
baseball, they thought they could make a deal with Comcast, but Comcast knows that Amazon will be coming in to make a deal for the basketball in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do a discount deal with Diamond Sports with Bally in in May June, that would undercut them asking for a really high price from Amazon, who could pay
Mm.
almost anything. And so they're willing to take the hit, I believe, to not undercut their value. That's just my theory. That's
Hmm.
just one
Okay.
person's theory that's seen this from a negotiator standpoint, so to speak.
So they were trying to get a deal. Comcast and Bally's bankrupt operator, Diamond Sports Group, were trying to get a new deal with who was it?
Bally and Comcast trying to get
Yeah,
the new deal,
yeah.
but
Okay.
they knew that it would only run for 4 to 6 months until the end of the season. And at that point, Amazon had already made a proposal, which
Hmm.
everyone is assuming will be approved coming. And so Comcast really loses not much by not bowing down to a uh, lower price demand. They
Yeah.
figure if they hold their ground that they can eventually get it from somebody, either from Bally or from the next successor, which would be Amazon coming in the fall, probably.
Oh, of course, Amazon always coming in to swoop in. Yeah. Diamond Sports Group has secured a multi-year deal with its two largest distributors, Charter and as of Wednesday, DirecTV. So they can not care what happens with the Comcast thing.
Exactly. Comcast is a big portion of the country, but a lot of the rural areas, Charter's number one. And the same thing with DirecTV. You can get it almost anywhere
Hmm.
now. And if
Expensive.
Bally is your deal that you have to have your local sports, and for the other part about the equation with linear cable, uh, the surveys have said that the number one reason people keep their linear cable is because of live sports. 27%. I believe the next closest was something about local news.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
outside of those,
the old
people
people.
are just cutting the cord. If you're not going for your local news or your local sports, it's just a cheaper route to go and go all streaming.
Yeah, I've never had
Yeah.
cable as an adult.
Well,
That's the reason. It's like if you're not into live sports, but now you can catch 50-70% of the live sports on Netflix or Amazon or
And
or
you can
Paramount
catch the
Plus.
rest in other
Yeah.
unethical ways we won't speak of. So, like, there's no reason to do it.
so Diamond Sports Group originally filed for a bankruptcy restructuring in March of 23, and it also operates 18 networks, which are distributed by Comcast under the Xfinity brand. But Diamond Sports Group also maintains linear rights for 12 MLB teams, which is the Twins, Cardinals, Braves, Tigers, Marlins, Guardians, Royals, Reds, Angels, Rangers, Rays, and Brewers. So I don't know what this is going to do for them.
They really don't. I mean, they won't be able to restructure and put something else in place within a month or two, especially if there's still a chance that they can get the deal
Oh,
done.
oh, they give alternative viewing options for those teams that they have the linear rights to. So Bally's going to go belly up and blackout, while those teams will be like, hey, you can still watch me. I guess, from what I'm
Yeah,
understanding.
you can go with Fubo or you can go with the Bally app. Still works because it's direct to streaming and notoriously glitchy.
Yeah, and
Oh
that's
my
a huge
goodness.
pain because if you have cable, you're not trying to use apps or Fubo TV, that's why you have it.
Right.
So,
That's why you
The
have cable. You hate apps, right?
yeah.
so blackouts will always exist for MLB.TV because if they were to lift the blackout restrictions, it would qualify as a breach of teams' contracts with Diamond Sports Groups.
Well, blackouts, yeah, but not like every game like it did this last week.
Right. Well, still, listen. You live in Jersey. I live in New York. Okay. You can't watch, let's say, a Mets game because you're too close. You can't watch a Yankees game because you're too close. I live in New York. I can't watch a Yankees game. So if the Cardinals play the Mets or the Yankees, I can't watch it.
I'm sure I can still watch it.
I mean, yeah, probably, but I can't watch it because it's blacked out because I live too close.
Yeah. I know how
I,
blackouts work. I just know also that this system is this last week's events are abnormal in their
listen,
reach.
if I'm paying for MLB.TV for every out of market game, I should be able to watch it. Bullshit.
Yeah. Let's move on to the actual off the field, on the field type of things with Ezekiel Elliott back with the Cowboys.
Woohoo!
Well, at least
Nobody
he's a
cares.
running back because
I'm a Cowboys fan,
again,
and I'm still not a fan. It's just
Nobody cares.
sad.
it's
Sad.
it's one of those like oh well, he's back, good job. Who cares?
yeah,
Type of
how
thing.
did we fumble this? So this was our option. Like that's a question I think
We
they
had
should.
it. We had a chance for a running back in the draft. We didn't get one because we weren't active in free agency. We didn't get a running back when we needed one. Oh well. Oh hey, Zeke's out there. Let's get him.
Yeah.
Nothing brings fans in like a reunion.
Speaking of bringing back some of the great names,
Oh,
OBJ is going to the Dolphins.
Hmm.
fins
Julie,
up.
what are your thoughts on the great one-handed catcher going back to Miami to be what the third best
He'll be the third option.
third
Yeah,
option? Yeah, maybe
yeah, because they have Waddle and they'll have
they've got Tyreek.
Cheetah. Yeah, they got Cheetah there.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, Julie? Yay or nay?
What do you mean, yay or nay? They already signed him.
Do you like it?
I don't really care. I'm used to seeing him out there somewhere, but I'm used to it being a different team every year. So
Just about, yeah. Either that or he's hurt.
yeah,
Yeah.
like he was with the Ravens last year, right? And like I
Mhm.
just remember his dad like shading
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, and I'm a Baker Mayfield stan, and so I always remember that. And look how well that's worked out. But anyway,
Hey, Baker's getting back on track. You leave him alone.
that's what I'm saying. I'm a Baker Mayfield stan, so I'm saying OBJ's dad coming from I don't know how that worked out, but
No, I don't know. They signed him for a year for up to 8.25 million.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
probably a lot of that is
OBJ.
bonuses, right?
That's probably what it means when it says up to.
Okay.
Because bonuses could make it up to 8.25. What are they
Staying in-
thinking? What are they thinking though? Bringing him in for 1 year? Is he going to re-sign? He's like 33.
What I'm thinking is that there's a lot of activity, and Julie usually knows more about these things than I do, but off the field stuff with Tyreek Hill
yeah,
this
Oh,
season, it
yeah.
seems like a
basically
lot of
an
stuff
endless
coming up.
flow.
It might be a backup plan type thing.
Yeah, that did occur to me that Tyreek is always in the middle of something. So that
Wait, what'd you say? Okir?
occurred. Yeah.
Occurred?
Yeah.
That's how you say occur?
Yeah, I guess
I've
it is.
never heard you say occur before. That was kind of funny. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Yeah, so Tyreek Hill is always in trouble. So yeah.
Okay.
Not in like super like he's not always in the slam or anything, but like
Yeah, he's not Pac-Man Jones or anything.
yeah, but controversy is also never far from him, so I can see that, Jay. I was kind of thinking that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Moving on to the east, the Bills adding Chase Claypool to the receiving room.
this is a joke to me. It is. He's proven to be a goof on and off the field. He's
Okay.
proven to be a little more overrated than what he is. And this team needed a big splash at receiver. And did they do it in the draft? Because I think they did, right?
Oh,
I'm almost positive that they drafted a receiver that was
I
decent
think they
enough for.
did. Yeah. They got a young guy. I forget what his name is, but they sure did.
So adding Claypool to the Bills receiving room is kind of a joke to me. It might be a camp move.
let's see. The next thing that was this wasn't signing news. This was just I don't know, maybe fake New York City news. Um, Aaron Rodgers will have zero restrictions when OTA start for the Jets.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Good for him. Old man can hobble around without having to worry about it. Out there slinging passes with a reattached Achilles. Good job.
Okay. Um, they picked up two second round guys. I mean two late round guys in the draft.
Who's
Remember?
that?
The Jets, fifth and
Or
seventh round. To be, I mean, to carry the clipboard and to learn from, you know, the goat.
oh, he's the go now. Okay,
The goat. Yeah,
how many goats
he's
can
the
we
goat.
have?
He's trying to be the goat of longevity at least.
Yeah.
I think that's still Brady.
It
Yeah.
is still Brady, but Brady did take a vacation year, unless you count like the 3 plays and then going down the vacation year. That was really rough on him. He had to do rehab, so that was different.
Oh no.
So Rogers, but
Mm.
anyway, moving the last thing for the football, the EA Sports college football video game is coming back.
Woo-hoo. I'm happy about it. I don't know about you, Julie. You happy about it?
I don't play video games, but I thought other people here might. So that's why I brought it up.
You don't play video games? Wow.
I do
I-
not a single one. I used to play
I,
Age of Empires when I was like a little kid.
I thought you'd be like a Wii person, like playing Mario Kart or something.
No, I played Age of Empires, and I also played the very first Halo, like the shooter game.
I know what Halo is.
Yeah, like the very first one, back when it came out. And if you ask me when that is, I don't remember, but I enjoyed that quite a bit. But I really
2003.
haven't played anything since Halo 1.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, my opinion on it is just from like the technical standpoint, is it took them 9 years to figure out the. It took
What in
me.
the hell was that? Everything okay there, Jay?
Yeah, everything is fine. Anyway, was 9 years of figuring out the rights for the players to get paid, and there's still some they're opting out. I know that that Manning opted out.
Oh, what's his name? Garrett or not Garrett?
Isn't it?
Isn't it Arch?
Arch Manning, yeah, he opted out of his.
And that's who is that? Is that Peyton or Eli's kid or nephew?
It's their nephew. It's the other one.
Cooper's son.
Yeah.
Oh, the insurance agent. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, the guy that he was a receiver at Ole Miss. He had some back issues,
Yeah.
and he retired while he was still in college because it was with the spinal cord. So.
Oh,
didn't
okay.
Peyton have something really serious with his that he didn't know about either until later with his own spinal cord?
When with the spinal cord, they discovered more about how serious it could have been when he did the neck surgery.
Yes.
That's when they discovered it. They said, "Oh, this could have been really bad for you."
Yeah, there's been a lot of times throughout NFL history where they were like, "Oh, wait, thank God you didn't die. You almost did a couple times." And there's still an issue where they're missing some of these really important health things because they're supposed to do screenings and they're still missing some, but they're definitely better about it now.
He had double fusion, didn't he?
The little Manning is Cooper's son, and he was in high school in New Orleans, so I always heard a lot about him when I lived there. And he played at the private school that was right next to Tulane's Uptown campus. It was very pretty. Um, and uh, and I talked to somebody who was from the same school, and they were talking about him while he was in high school still, saying he's super humble, really good, kind of nervous about the next step. So I just kind of remember that. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they're paying the athletes $25,000 a piece to be in, which doesn't sound like too much, but then you consider 130 teams and rosters of 60 or 70 people, it starts to add up
Yeah.
just for the rights to have their name on there instead of instead of just their number. So anyway, yeah, I'm excited about it coming back. I know tons of people that have talked about it for a year or two.
Yeah, I remember
And
people talking about it back when I was playing Halo. What?
Yeah, whatever.
I remember, I think we had a copy of it, like the original, like in the 90s, like one of those. And it was like a big thing. Yeah.
it was a huge thing. People would run up dynasties, and yeah, they were very happy that it came back. But Ed O'Banion and a lot of people who was a UCLA basketball player sued over the rights. But yeah, that's definitely a 90 minutes of its own.
Mm.
Moving into the NCAA lawsuit, multiple states joining recently against the lawsuit against the NCAA. I know Tennessee
Yeah.
is one of the lawsuits. Several southern states are arguing against
Pretty
the
sure
NCAA.
Florida, and New York
Florida,
were headed.
New York, and DC are joining Tennessee and Virginia in their lawsuit against the NCAA. Just to recap, they're saying it's not cool that the current rules prohibit NIL deals for players during recruitment, both freshmen and transfers. Um, and their lawsuit's looking good right now, and the NCAA is looking at a 2.7 billion dollar settlement at this time for a period of 10 years of past damages of college athletes who say that they lost money. So
I'm gonna play little devil's advocate here. I think it's good that they're prohibiting it in the recruiting stage. I mean, how many teams are going to be able to keep up with an Alabama in football to get it? Well, now that Saban's gone, probably plenty, but to be, coming in as a recruit and they say, oh, we can get you this, this, and this for this much. If you come here, you'll have this in NIL deals over somebody from Oregon who's like, oh, we can only get you this. Or, hey, we can't get you anything at all. I just
yeah, so
I think that's the best. I think that's smart to keep everything kind of level because that's what they're really there for. They're there to regulate and kind of keep everything level, aren't they? The NCAA
is level what they're aiming for.
Well, you really want competition. You want competition within all of your sports you have. It's not just within football that they're doing this. So
yeah, but like obviously players who are going to get picked by like a better college are going to get better deals. That's obvious.
Right. Yeah. And when you're in the recruiting process, the NCAA is prohibiting these NIL deals. It's smart to keep an even playing field like that. If that's the way you're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, but apparently it's an antitrust law breach or whatever, so they can't do it anymore.
Yeah, but
and those kind of rules are kind of important. So if that's what it is, then obviously regulating is not that important because it goes against our like federal law system. So like it's clearly a flawed system if it's violating. I'm not good with financial stuff, but I just hear antitrust law and I hear, oh crap. So
yeah, I can understand their way of thinking when they want to do this, but
yeah, I understand
you're violating laws here.
Yeah, I get the desire. I think that they're also worried about obviously the bottom dollar. I don't think they actually care about the players at all or like what that means for the individual players. I think they're worried about the money they're gonna have to pay. So
yeah, that's blatantly obvious.
2.7 billion is no small chunk.
Yeah, I can see the points of for both of you, but I mean, it's like the the NCAA has consistently shown themselves not up to the task the
Yeah.
last 5 years of regulating this. But I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards Ryan because the alternative is to get the feds involved, and there is literally nothing more scary to someone, especially in the rural South, that like the government is coming in to straighten all this up.
Yeah.
that's like that's nightmare fuel. Okay, that is totally nightmare fuel. The big smart people from the East Coast are coming to show up to tell y'all how to run your village football program. So it's going to be. I think it'll come to a compromise somehow because I think people from the South and the rural parts of the country are really not wanting the federal government to oversee their college football. But then again, the NCAA has messed it up so many times and so continually, there might be no choice.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's not my perspective. I just am saying that apparently it violates some pretty key laws in this country. Apparently, if this lawsuit works, and we can't have that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not pointing out, oh, I think players should get this, players should get that. I'm just looking at it. If it violates laws, then it's a no go, right? Like, is
Yeah, I
that
see
how
what you're
this
saying.
works?
You're saying that no matter what they decide to do, if the courts overrule it, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. If
Okay.
it's breaching some antitrust law, that sounds pretty serious to me. And you can't do that just because you're a rural program or something. Like,
Okay. The last topic for 35, this issue of Tailgate Update 35 is also NIL, which is that there's some talk that players might be obligated to play in bowl games to uh, get the full benefit of their NIL deals.
yeah, apparently, like, well, obviously, like being in a bowl game would be great for advertisements or whatever, and like have and so people who are paying them however much money might require for them to be like present there. So,
Mhm.
which makes a lot of sense. It's just like a really big change from the recent like opt-out trend. So, I think that's why people have been talking about this because a lot of key players opt out, but obviously those are the people who are going to be getting NIL deals. So, um, it could change the climate a little bit. Probably not a big deal at all, but just an observation that would be a little different than what we are are used to. One of many, I'm sure. So we will watch the courts because it's heating up around here. First, I think it was just one state, right? I think it was just Virginia, and then I think Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we got Florida, New York, and DC, and I really feel like when you get New York and DC involved with things, things start to happen.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
it's not just southern states anymore. It's and does that vouch for anything, Jay, that the first states that started this are the same southern states we're talking about that aren't gonna like it? Because like if they had a problem, like Tennessee and Virginia, I mean, they're not the dirty, dirty South, but they're in there.
Mm.
And so
But the other thing about it is that Tennessee and Virginia both have been kind of like dinged on minor NCAA or in Tennessee's case, kind of semi-major NCAA things. And they look around, and Alabama just walks away clean for 15 years, and the same thing with Virginia, looking at places like looking at Miami and
mm,
Florida State, not getting hit with the major sanctions in 5 or 10 years, and just thinks that they're kind of getting the dirty end of the deal.
yeah, well, Florida feels like they're getting some slight, I guess, because they're in it now too.
That makes sense. It's Florida is tough to guess about because they have both SEC and ACC.
Okay, and Florida's Florida. So yeah,
True.
yeah, it
They're in
could
the
be hard
they're
to
in the middle of
understand with
everything
them.
where they're suing the government. I'm sure that they're happy to get in there. I think we covered everything, but did anybody have any thoughts last couple minutes on the things that we have covered that maybe we cut something off or another thought came up on a topic we were hitting?
Um, Good question, Jay. Hold on real quick.
Yeah, fierceness.
Oh, as of right now, the Rangers are winning 3-1 over the Hurricanes in Game 1. So, yeah, game 7 tonight, Dallas and Vegas, 7:30. Let's go Dallas.
It should be pretty good.
Let's go Dallas.
If I had something to say, Jay, I would have said it when we were talking about it. I
Yeah.
think we know that.
I think I'm pretty much the same way. I know that the Bally stuff is a total mess. Like I said, the NCAA game, which went away for 9 years and came back, and other the other thing, the Bally stuff. I mean, I literally could have just pontificated for 90 minutes on either one of those. Those are just so amazing, amazingly detailed things.
You know something? When I was playing college football games back in the day, they didn't even have their names, right? But they had their
right. They had their numbers.
They had the numbers.
Right.
So we used to have to like go back and look at like rosters, see whose numbers who, right?
Right.
Or you generate made up names.
Right.
Now, I found out that for the 2K wrestling games, they had one guy doing all of the entrances, and they would just hire a couple of no names just to come in and do like all the animated moves, and not do anything for it. It's just odd to me that there's not ways around of making a college football game without using their name and likeness.
I know. I mean, the thing that got them towards the end was the fact that Ed O'Banion was on a team. They were like Final Four or at least Elite Eight, and he would see all his friends dishing out $50 a pop for the game, and there'd be an African American player, his height, his weight, his color on his team, and he would not be getting anything from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd be like, okay, this isn't just like, it's when it moved into where they could be very specific that the players looked up and said, you know, this just kind of is not right, when I literally know people that, just the people I know, spent like $1,000 on the game, you know? Much less nationwide. And so they thought, well, where is my piece? And then they sued, and then EA Sports, their response to this was like, you know what? We just don't want to pay athletes, and it could be a difficulty. This was 2014, negotiating things out. And so we'll just stop making the game. We're happy just, making we're making the NHL game, we're making NBA, we're making NFL. We're good. We're cool.
Yeah.
And so rather than go through the rigmarole of having to do the licensing, they just bailed out in the last 2 or 3 years. It's really picked up steam because of everything being automated. They can do it easier.
I thought it was a great alternative to Madden. It was awesome, like, because you had Road to Glory, you had mascot games, you could do mini games, all that good stuff.
Right.
And now we're gonna have 2K coming out with a football game. I don't know if you remember 2K5.
I remember
the 2K series.
Had it for the Dreamcast, yes.
I had 2K2 for Dreamcast, and I also had 2K5 for Xbox. Greatest games ever. 2K5 had it was the greatest franchise mode ever. And it's been gone since Madden finally got the rights to all the NFL games.
Right.
And just pretty much buried 2K. And 2K was like, well, we're making basketball games, we're okay. All that good stuff. And they're coming back. And I think they're coming back within the next year or so.
Yeah.
We need alternatives, man. We need alternatives.
Yeah, it's going to be great alternatives. And like you said, with the other one coming back too, 2K made some great games. And EA's just kind of gotten, and the whole Madden crew's just kind of gotten complacent.
Oh my God.
I haven't heard a good thing said about the games in 2 or 3 years.
No, not since probably 2K15 or Madden 15.
Yeah.
Has it been a decent game?
I've heard anything even neutral. It's always just,
It's just bad all the way around.
But I can see, Jay, how if they're not paying certain players, how
Yeah.
that could look bad optically if there's trends.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
or here's my last thought on this. Instead of using the name and likeness of a college athlete, just pay money to the college for using their name, and then just go hire some like Joe Schmo off the street, pay him $2,000 to dress up in a suit and play football for a video game. Just get a bunch of them and do that. There's ways around this. We could have had games for the last 9 years.
I know. It's a shame because, like you said, it was like a lot of people that college football was bigger than pro football. It was their deal. So, anyway, thank y'all for hanging out. My God, I love hanging out with people that know a lot more about sports than I do. So that was fun. So
it's always fun every week.
Take it easy. What's the thing you always say at the end of the episode, Julie?
I think. Like, subscribe, comment. You said it in the beginning. That's why I didn't.
Double tap, man. Double tap.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't even lecture anybody about subscribing because a huge percentage of our viewers aren't, because we did so well with 300 subscribers this week, so we get to avoid that. So subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, ding, and we will be seeing you when we see you.
Bye.
Bye.